Welcome to G Fun Facts Online, the show that unpacks the fascinating science and society behind our everyday world. Today, we're logging into a topic that affects nearly every aspect of modern life, from how we learn and work to how we connect with each other. We live in a digital world. You're likely listening to this on a smartphone or computer, connected to the internet. We order food, book appointments, apply for jobs, and talk to family across the globe, all with a few taps and clicks. This digital future seems to brim with endless possibilities. But beneath this shiny surface of progress, there's a hidden chasm, an invisible barrier that's splitting our society in two. It's called the digital divide. And it's not just about who has the latest iPhone and who doesn't. It's a deep and complex issue that reflects and even magnifies the biggest inequalities of our time. It's the dividing line of the information age. And today, we're going to explore who is being left behind, why it's happening, and what it means for all of us. The term digital divide first popped up back in the 1990s. Initially, it was simple. It described the gap between people who had access to a telephone and those who didn't. Then, as technology evolved, it became about having a personal computer and an internet connection. But today, the meaning has expanded dramatically. It's not a simple yes or no question of having internet. The digital divide is now a complex spectrum of inequality. Think of it in layers. The first and most basic layer is what experts call the first level or access divide. This is the gap we most commonly think of. It's about the physical availability of technology. Can you afford a computer or a smartphone? Can you afford a reliable, high-speed internet plan, month after month? For millions of people, even in wealthy nations, the answer is no. A low-income family might face the harsh choice between paying for an internet connection or paying for groceries. Geography is another huge factor. If you live in a big city, you probably have a choice of several internet providers, all competing for your business with high speeds and decent prices. But if you live in a rural or remote community, you might have only one slow, unreliable, and expensive option, if you have one at all. In the United States alone, millions of people, particularly in rural areas, lack access to what we consider standard high-speed broadband. This isn't a uniquely American problem. It's a global phenomenon separating connected cities from underserved countrysides. But let's say we solve that. Let's imagine we could give everyone on the planet a free laptop and a free fast internet connection tomorrow. Would the digital divide disappear? Not even close. This brings us to the second level divide, which is all about skills and usage. Simply having access to a highway doesn't mean you know how to drive a car. Similarly, having access to the internet doesn't mean you have the digital literacy to use it effectively. Many people, especially older adults or those with limited educational backgrounds, might lack the confidence or the knowledge to navigate the digital world. This isn't just about advanced coding. We're talking about essential, everyday tasks. Sending a professional email, using a search engine effectively to find reliable information, setting up online banking, accessing government services, or even figuring out how to join a video call for a doctor's appointment. The recent COVID-19 pandemic threw this into stark relief. As the world shut down, schools shifted to remote learning, but students without the right devices or a quiet place with reliable Wi-Fi were left struggling to keep up. This was dubbed the homework gap. Meanwhile, job applications moved almost entirely online, creating another massive hurdle for those who weren't digitally fluent. Even booking a vaccine appointment became a test of one's digital skills. This crisis proved that digital access is no longer a luxury. It's a fundamental necessity for participating in society. Beyond skills, there's also the usage gap. Even among people who have access and basic skills, how they use the internet varies wildly. Some might primarily use it for entertainment, watching videos, playing games, and scrolling through social media. Others leverage it for what we might call capital-enhancing activities, taking online courses, building professional networks, searching for better job opportunities, and engaging in civic life. This difference in usage can reinforce existing inequalities, creating a feedback loop where those who use the internet for empowerment pull further and further ahead. So the digital divide isn't just one divide. It's a cascade of divides. There's the economic opportunity divide, where a lack of digital skills locks people out of the modern job market. There's the democratic divide, where people without access are excluded from online political discourse and essential government information. And there's the massive global digital divide, the vast technological gap between developed and developing nations, which impacts everything from international trade to a country's ability to compete in the global economy. So why does this divide exist? It's not an accident of technology. It's a product of deep-seated social and economic forces. At its heart, the digital divide is an economic issue. The cost of a new computer, a smartphone, and especially a monthly high-speed internet bill can be a massive barrier for low-income individuals and families. Even subsidized, low-cost plans can be too much when you're choosing between the internet and putting food on the table. Education level is another powerful predictor. People with higher levels of education are not only more likely to have the necessary skills, but they are also more likely to understand the benefits of the internet and feel motivated to use it for a wider range of activities. Then there's geography, the urban-rural chasm we mentioned earlier. Why is it so much harder to get good internet in the countryside? It comes down to basic economics for the service providers. It is incredibly expensive to lay miles of fiber optic cable and build infrastructure to serve just a few houses in a sparsely populated area. It's far more profitable to invest in dense urban centers where one block can contain thousands of customers. This market-driven approach has left many rural communities cut off from the digital world, just as they were once cut off from electricity and telephone lines. Personal characteristics also play a significant role. There's a well-documented grade digital divide, where older adults are far less likely to be online than younger generations. This isn't because they are incapable, but often due to a lack of familiarity, physical challenges like declining vision or dexterity, or a feeling that the internet simply isn't relevant to their lives. Individuals with disabilities face their own unique set of barriers. A website that isn't designed with accessibility in mind can be impossible for someone with a visual impairment to use with a screen reader. The cost of special assistive technologies can be yet another financial barrier. These causes are all interconnected, weaving a complex web of exclusion. It's a reflection of our society's existing inequalities, simply mirrored and amplified in the digital realm. The consequences of this ripple through every part of our lives. In education, the homework gap isn't just about homework. It can lead to lower grades, less engagement, and a diminished educational journey, ultimately limiting a student's future opportunities in higher education and the workforce. In the economy, the impact is profound. As job applications, remote work, and the gig economy become the norm, those without digital access and skills are left on the sidelines of economic mobility. It stifles entrepreneurship, as starting a small business today almost requires access to online markets, marketing tools, and financial services. In healthcare, the divide can be a matter of life and death. Technology promises a revolution in care through telemedicine, electronic health records, and a wealth of online health information. But this revolution is leaving people behind. Patients who can't get online may struggle to schedule appointments, talk to their doctors, access their own medical records, or find reliable health information. For an elderly person with a chronic condition living in a rural area, telemedicine could be a lifeline. But if they don't have the technology or the skills to use it, it's just another locked door. This can lead to delayed diagnoses, poor management of illnesses, and ultimately, worse health outcomes. And finally, it affects our social fabric. The internet is our modern public square. It's where we debate politics, organize in our communities, and access government services. Being offline means being excluded from a vital part of civic life. It can also lead to profound social isolation. In a world where families and friends connect through messaging apps and social media, being disconnected can deepen feelings of loneliness, especially for older adults or those with mobility issues. So the challenge is clear. The digital divide is a chasm that's deepening inequality across education, the economy, healthcare, and our social lives. How do we bridge it? There is no single magic bullet. It requires a collaborative, multi-pronged attack on the problem from all sides. First, we have to expand access. This means treating broadband internet like a public utility, just like electricity and water. It requires significant government investment and public-private partnerships to build the necessary infrastructure, especially in those underserved rural and remote areas. But infrastructure isn't enough if it's not affordable. Subsidies, low-cost internet plans for low-income households, and programs that provide affordable, refurbished devices are all critical pieces of the puzzle. Next, we must foster digital literacy. Access is pointless without skills. This means integrating digital skills into school curricula from a young age. It means empowering public libraries and community centers to become hubs for digital training, offering classes and one-on-one support for everyone, from a teenager learning to code to a senior learning to video call their grandchildren. Technology itself must also be designed for inclusion. Websites and software need to be accessible for people with disabilities. User interfaces need to be intuitive and easy to navigate for people of all skill levels. Finally, this has to be a collaborative effort. Governments need to create policies that promote digital equity. The private tech sector has a responsibility to invest in infrastructure and design inclusive products. And nonprofit organizations on the ground are essential for providing training and advocating for their communities. Looking ahead, the landscape of technology is changing faster than ever. The rise of artificial intelligence, the expansion of 5G networks, and the growth of the Internet of Things will reshape our world. These advancements are a double-edged sword. AI could personalize education for underserved students, but it could also perpetuate bias in hiring. New satellite internet services could finally connect remote regions, but the cost might create a new kind of divide. As technology evolves, so will the digital divide. The gap in simple access may shrink, but the gap in skills, usage, and the ability to critically navigate an algorithm-driven world will likely grow even more important. The future of the digital divide isn't written yet. It will be shaped by the choices we make today. Addressing this challenge is not just about giving people gadgets, it's about empowering them. It's about building a future where technology is a tool for opportunity, not a source of division. A future where everyone, regardless of their income, age, or address, has the chance to participate, to learn, and to thrive in the digital age. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online. Join us next time as we explore another fascinating corner of our world.